Our pool is green. As you can see, we did some digging to realize it's because of the little tiny itty bitty pump that it came with. So we ordered a replacement pump from Vevor, or Vevor, not sure how to pronounce it, and it is a sand filter pump. So I've got sand as well. So let's go ahead and take it out of the box, look at it, get it set up. So this is everything that it's going to come with. So most of it was inside of the sand filter, I guess that's a sand filter. So it does come with the pump that you need, comes with the stand for the sand filter. I think this is the part that the pump connects to. It doesn't have a base plate that all of it goes on, so that is something important to note. Comes with this part, which goes down inside your filter, and all of your connections, your instructions, and everything there. And this is going to be your threaded valve, which goes on top of there. So let's go ahead and get the instructions out and get to assembly. So the instructions leave a lot to be desired on this. It's not too terribly difficult to figure out. It does just kind of show a picture on there, and then from that you just have to kind of figure out how it goes together. Just use your best judgment based on the pieces that it gives you. Now you are going to have some extra pieces, so this is going to be an extra piece. I've got another one that's an extra piece, and then this one's going to be an extra piece. I have 3 of those that are extra. Now one thing that I am pretty sure I'm going to have an issue with is these. So it does come with adapters that go from this, which I believe is 2 inch, down to 1 3/4 inches. My issue is the washers that are on these, on this pump, actually is weird shaped. So it's got this little lip, and instead of sitting flat, it actually goes inside of here. This obviously does not have a spot where it goes inside of it. It's designed for just a flat washer. So I'm guessing that this is going to leak. What I ended up having to do was I pulled off one of the O-ring washers off of this and put it on there. Again, I'm guessing it's going to leak. We'll find out for sure once we get everything connected up. I'm guessing that's going to leak. I'm probably going to need to grab a couple of flat washers for this, and then the same thing for that return hose as well. The exact same issue. However, it is assembled, so not too terribly difficult to get set up at all. You're literally just going to set them next to each other. Now again, this one did not come with like a flat part. It only came with a small flat part for this pump to sit on, and then it came with the base for that to sit on. Not the end of the world. I'm literally just going to put them right next to each other. Have this one sitting right on there, and it kind of comes out of there, so it's kind of a weird deal. But just kind of sitting on there, and then this blue hose over here connects to the top of this. It's got a clamp on it for connection. Before I do all of that, I'm going to go ahead and pour sand in there just so I can make sure not to get sand inside of my pump. Now assembly on this is going to be relatively easy. So those little guys, all of those, you just have to screw them in once it's down in there. I put like 3 or 4 on, then turn it sideways, put it down in there, and it's just going to kind of sit right in the bottom, right? That part down there, you also have to assemble. It's the only one, quite literally the only one that fits into there. And again, because of the design on this, you want to make sure that that is facing out rather than facing in how I had it. Just make sure you're facing out with that, because that's going to be your drain. If you ever do need to drain out, that's going to be your drain. So make sure you have that facing the correct way. And then this part is just going to sit in there, and essentially you're just blocking the sand from going down into that while you are filling it up with sand. Now they do say you should use number 20, which is going to be pool filter sand for use in sand filters. I went ahead and grabbed 2 bags. I think that'll be enough, but we'll see. Now I got the 16-inch sand filter here, and it took 2 50-pound bags. So 1, 2, and filled all the way up. And as you can see, I am right at the max line. So now I've got the sand in, you're going to pull this off, and then you're going to put the top on. Now, you do have a washer that's like a rubber O-ring, I guess. That's going to go right onto there, as you can see. And then this is going to sit right down over top of there. Now again, the way this is designed, I'm going to kind of have to, so this is going to be my waist, so I really don't want to bury that. Same thing with the rinse. So I'm probably going to have to like rotate this a little bit, have this hose like maybe on the other side, something. So just the design on this, you know, the way this head is, you're going to have to kind of finagle with it. So maybe I'll have to end up, you know, moving this over onto this side. Not sure what I'll have to do, but obviously the waist, and then the part for like so this is going to be like for when you're back washing and whatever, you're going to want that facing out. Don't face that towards your pool. So you're probably going to need to like turn this. So I'm going to probably have to do something like that. I'm going to have to move the pump over onto this side, which means I've got to finagle with these hoses as well. So as I suspected, you can see it's dripping there. I literally just unplugged one of these. Let me do that again. And you can see we are leaking all over the place as water tries to flow into there. So I'm going to go ahead and plug that back up. So these are all going to need flat washers on them. This one I think is just going to need tightened down. It looks like it's coming out from right here, so I'm just going to have to tighten that out. But that is going to need a flat washer, as is this one, because the O-rings that I'm attempting to use, yeah, it's not going to work for this. So just something to keep in mind if you're trying to connect and you have, so this is going to be a Coleman one. It's going to have these little, well, they were on there. It's going to have these little guys. They kind of push in to on the inside of the filter. So they go in like there on this filter that it came with, instead of sitting flat on the surface. The adapters are ones where you're going to need it to sit flat rather than being in. So you probably have to buy correct ones of that, like I do. So it is now 2 days later. I had to rehook up my old pump because I had to order this little guy. Now this one came in a pack of 2, and this one is going to be, it goes from the inside, so it's going to be from the pool into the pump, goes on the inside of here, and then this little adapter is the correct size for the hose leads, so that one there and this one here, for my Coleman above ground pool. Now this is just the one that I ordered at Walmart, so I think Coleman, Best Ways, I think they're all the same, but this little adapter is what you are going to need if you're trying to hook up a sand pump. You're going to need some sort of adapter that will connect into this, and then we'll go to this. Now, I did want to mention this cord is going to be relatively short. So if your plug that you have, your GFCI or whatever, is further away, like it's literally like a 2.5, 3 foot cord. So I've got mine just connected up into a GFCI here, just to make, because that cord's a little bit further away than where we have our pool. Now, once you get that set up, you are probably going to have some issues with some leaking. So I had a leak here and I had a leak here. I went ahead and grabbed my impact and I was able to tighten those up to remove those leaks. I also had a leak here because I didn't have this quite tight enough, and I still might have a small leak. I'm seeing a couple of drips right here, so I still might have a small leak. Might have to, you know, mess with that. It looks like it's dripping from right here, so maybe try and move this, try and wiggle it a little bit, try and tighten it up just a smidge more on that part right there. Once that is all done and you believe you're good with leaks, then you want to do a backwash. So you're just going to backwash it for a bit, essentially until it runs clear. It's going to throw some sand out, but once that is done, then you're going to go to rinse. Once you're done with rinsing, then you're going to go to filter, and then you're going to turn it on. Now on the pump itself, you can set it for a certain number of hours. So say I want it to run for 12 hours, 16 hours, up to 24 hours. I can totally set that as needed. So however often you want it to run, you can do and set that up there. And as you can see, those connections are working absolutely perfectly. Those are leaking not less, they're not leaking at all, than the ones that actually came from Vevor. This one here and that one there were the two that I've been having issues with. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn on the filter and see how much water we are moving. Before, comes out right there, before it was just going out maybe I would say 1.5 foot, maybe, even when the filter was wholly clean. So let's test it and see. Install's complete. Now it's not shooting halfway across the pool or anything like that, but according to the stats for this pump, it does 3,500 gallons per hour versus my little itty bitty pump. I think they said it was rated for 1,600 or something like that. Doesn't even say there on that label. This is going to be a 1/2 horsepower pump, and then this one that I got, I believe, is going to be a 1 horse. Let's look here. Looks like 6.5 amps. I think this is either a 3/4 or a 1 horse. I don't see it on there. But this one is going to have all the different settings, so you can set it for hours, times, on, off. But as you can see, I've got all the leaks apparently resolved. Water is not coming out of there. Now I've got these, so these are just still the manufacturer ones on there. I am going to swap one of them out for a skimmer at some point, so all the leaves and stuff will get sucked in. But you can feel the suction on these, especially if you don't have these little things on. You can feel the suction on that versus what it was before, night and day. So if you got a bigger pool like this one here is, and you're struggling keeping it clean, Vevor should be a good option for you. This is going to be their sand filter.